Welcome to the Full Moon Film Buff, episode 63. We're going to talk about Dracula contra Frankenstein, also titled Dracula, Prisoner of Frankenstein in America from 1972. I rented this from Scarecrow Video. I had not seen this film before. As always, we begin by talking about the prominent crew and cast. The film was written and directed by Jesus Franco, with effects makeup by Monique Adelaide. Jesus Franco began his career in the late 1950s in Spain. His filmography spans various genres, but has a particular focus on horror, eroticism, and exploitation films. He often worked on a tight budget. Despite mixed critical reception, he garnered a dedicated fan base for his unorthodox and daring cinematic expressions. He became a key figure in European exploitation cinema after leaving Spain to make movies in France. Throughout his prolific career, Jesus Franco directed over 200 films, wrote almost 200, and acted in over 100 under various pseudonyms. Monique Adelaide doesn't quite meet our one and done list of makeup artists, but she only did do 4 movies in 2 years. The cast includes Dennis Price as Dr. Frankenstein, Howard Vernon as Dracula, Paca Gabaldon as Maria, billed as Mary Frances, Alberto Dalbes as Dr. Jonathan Seward, Carmen Yazalde as Chica Vampira, billed as Britton Nichols, Genevieve Robert as Amira La Gitana, Anne Liebert as Primera Victima de Dracula, Luis Babu as Morpho, Brandy as El Hombre Lobo, Fernando Bilbao as El Monstro, Yossane Gibert as Estella, La Cantante de Cabaret. Dennis Price began acting on the stage before transitioning to film in the 30s. Price's breakthrough and perhaps greatest role came in the film Kind Hearts and Coronets in 1949. In this black comedy, he played the protagonist, Louis Mazzini, and systematically eliminates the members of a noble family to inherit the title of Duke. Price's performance was widely praised for its wit and sophistication. Price faced personal and professional challenges related to alcohol abuse, though he continued to act mostly in European exploitation films. Born as Mario Lippert, Howard Vernon emerged as a prominent figure in the horror film industry, amassing an impressive 200 film credits throughout his career. His journey in acting commenced in the 1940s, and he became a notable collaborator with filmmaker Jesus Franco. Beyond the horror genre, Vernon's commanding on-screen presence and distinctive features made him a sought-after actor. Paca Gabaldon lived in 5 different countries, Turkey, Italy, Argentina, Chile, and Peru, before she turned 18. Alberto Dalbes got his start in Argentina before shifting to the Spanish film scene. While Anne Liebert's career spans 3 decades, a vast majority of her acting was done in the 70s. Louis Barbu was a Spanish character actor with a career spanning 4 decades. The film that jumped out at me was that he appeared in Conan the Barbarian from 1982. Unfortunately, detailed information about Fernando Bilbao's life and career is limited. His filmography reflects a nearly 4-decade-long career. I found this film to be slow and dull. Worse than that, there was barely a werewolf in it. Less than 8 minutes of a werewolf who never gets a name, does one thing, fights the monster, and dies off screen. Skip this one. So let's hit the synopsis. Dracula kills an attractive young lady. Dr. Jonathan Seward runs the Seward Sanitarium while doing a little vampire hunting on the side. When examining the body of the recently murdered girl, he notices the 2 telltale puncture wounds on her neck. Dr. Seward knows what this means, so he pays a visit to Castle Dracula and runs a very tiny stake through the vampire king's undead heart. Dracula turns into a bat and lays dead in his coffin. This takes up the first 18 minutes of the movie. Sometime afterward, a deaf mute wanders into town looking for Castle Dracula, and I don't know why he's looking for it. It's hard to miss the repeated shots of the huge castle at the top of the mountain, just outside the town. The deaf mute is Morpho, lab assistant to Dr. Rainier von Frankenstein. A young lady is terrified of nothing in particular. Frankenstein gets to work by awakening his monster. He sends the monster to kidnap a French cabaret singer who gets a whole musical number. Several bullets and admirers cannot save her. Frankenstein pumps out her blood and bathes the bat in it to awaken Dracula. Poof! Dracula is back, although he's zombie-like now. Morpho makes out with the corpse before cremating it. Ugh. Frankenstein got a vampirist from somewhere who attacks a girl. We've reached the halfway point now. Frankenstein has a grand plan to create an army of the shadows to serve him in his attempts to take over the world. He targets Seward since Seward battles for good. He orders Dracula to create vampire spawn and leads him to his first victim, Maria, the terrified patient at Seward's sanitarium that is kept sedated. When Seward notices the 2 puncture wounds on Maria's neck, he realizes Dracula is back and sets off for the castle, taking Maria with him for some reason. On the road, Frankenstein's monster ambushes him, beats him up, and leaves him for dead. Maria falls into Frankenstein's hands and fully becomes a vampire. Dracula and Maria set upon a rich couple to feed and turn them into vampires too. Seward's unconscious body is discovered by a band of gypsies who take him to their camp. Amira, apparently the resident shaman, saves him. Amira was bitten by one of Dracula's vampiresses earlier in the movie. She knows that her time is short and explains to the doctor that the gypsies have been slaves to Dracula and they're tired of it. She knows Seward destroyed Dracula before and wants him to do it again and free her people. This time, she's going to help him by conjuring a werewolf during the next full moon. For some reason, a vampirus kills Morpho. Next full moon, Seward is stronger, but Amira is weak. She reminds him that the werewolf will come tonight and that he must kill Dracula and the other evil beings to free the gypsies. Suddenly, they hear a werewolf's howl coming from Castle Dracula. 73 minutes into the movie, and we finally see the Wolfman. The werewolf breaks into the castle and finds the monster. While the werewolf and the monster duke it out, Dr. Frankenstein decides that Dracula has betrayed him for some reason and plunges a spear through his heart. Seward rallies the gypsies and they all race up to the castle. The monster, bloodied from his fight with the werewolf, returns to his own coffin and is electrocuted by his creator. I think the monster killed the werewolf. They don't show it, so I'm not sure. By the time Seward and the gypsies arrive, both Dracula and Maria have been turned into skeletons. Seward holds up a crucifix and thanks God for his divine help. There is no transformation to talk about. The werewolf arrives as the werewolf, and the makeup really could be better for everyone. The werewolf and the monster look horrible. Dracula just looks bad. Oh, and as far as werewolf lore, there's none. Wait, I guess werewolves work for gypsies. That's one thing. So in conclusion, if you like lycanthropes, like, share, and subscribe. Contribute your thoughts and additional observations in the comments below. Let me know what I missed or what you noticed. Next, I plan on discussing Wolfen from 1981. Keep your eye on the moon, a silver bullet in the chamber, and we'll see you back here next episode.